Yeah.
It's basically like plenty kiosks and the fire is in the middle. So unless they have a helicopter,
Yeah.
they can't put up the fire. Or unless they have a hose that can really pump from distance, it's almost impossible to get in there. Don't you think we need to have a conversation about our markets and redesign them?
It's a conversation nobody wants to have.
Yeah.
The city authorities don't want to have it. The traders don't want to have it, because the traders will tell you that, look, the state of their livelihoods is such that they cannot wait for a market to be redesigned, because then the government also has to provide alternate spaces for them to go into. The government doesn't have that at the moment.
Can we get the assemblies to do it? To say every assembly has a 10-year plan to build a Kanesi type of market.
They'll tell you it's not. They'll tell you the location is not strategic.
Oh, we will go. Like
Well,
I
who
know what
go?
you're saying. Like it's because this fires thing, it costs so much. If there's because the connections are not good, there's no proper drainage, it's not hygienic. We need leadership to take a decision on it.
Leadership
We
is not
shouldn't listen to
interested.
the people. Let's do what is right.
No.
Let's do what is right.
No.
Because Akoto, you go to a market, some
won't do what is right.
people don't even have access to proper toilets. You can't even drive a water carrying fire service truck into the market.
Oh, Bernard,
And people live there all day.
Bernard, how many times has Cantamanto gone up in flames? The recent one, within 24 hours, the firewood was being rehammered in there. They were hammering the firewood in again. Basically following the same design from the previous, which is why when we had the conversation this week about the security couples, I spoke to you about the new fire officer has a big job. And I like this thing you say about how do we gauge improvements. So this new fire officer, by the time she leaves office, how would we gauge that she did a good job? By reduced number of market fires, improved access to these ones, making inputs into the design. Not personally, but at least what are the initiatives?
I can give you some. The Minister of Interior said the fire.
They haven't been retooled in a long time.
15 years. So maybe her first job will be to raise resources to even buy proper fire tenders.
Yeah.
And then do public education on why we need. But look, just behind ICGC, the old one, Abosi Okai, somebody sent me a video of people rebuilding the place that had been cleared by the former minister.
Oh, yeah, I drive past.
And the people are now using blocks.
Yes,
so they are building permanent structures in a place which was not to have been inhabited.
Bernard, the building, if you want to get a good look, the new interchange here.
Go on top of it.
You will see from Agboblosi all the way to the Friends Mall.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Bukom Emporium from the top of the interchange.
Wow.
All you see is the refuse, the plastic, and the wooden structures that are being put up. And it's amazing, Bernard, how quickly these structures are being put up. So you just see the 2x4 wood, all from Agboblosi all the way to the Bukom Emporium. Look at the size of land I'm talking about here. And that place is full.
What would it take for the government to say, this is not the place to live, this is not the place to sell?
Where is the place to live and where is the place to sell?
The place has been polluted because of many years of neglect and the way people do scrap metal there. It's not a healthy place to do anything. So calling the place off and tell people not to go there.
You see?
That's what leadership is supposed to do.
Yes.
Don't tell us that, there's an electoral consequence vote. Those things are, I think they are just bad leadership.
Which is why again,
tell the people that you cannot live here.
I was very.
If you want to work, we'll give you a different place. You can't live here. You can't work here.
I was very interested when the Minister for Mesti went there, Mutala Ibrahim, because my initial thought was, why is he even going there? But then again, I asked myself, maybe he wants to better understand why the people are there to find a solution. But my thinking again was, but there's a lot of work that has been done by the city itself on why people should not be here.
And yet they sit by and let people do it.
So it's like everybody comes and wants to do their own research into why the people are here, where should we take them. But the work, the material is there. If you go to the AMA, they can easily show you why the people are not supposed to be there, where they should be, how you can deal with this. But here's the thing, Bernard. Everything is about its electoral consequences with us.
Oh, come on.
Everything. Bernard, no, you can't overlook it.
NDC just won a big election. You can't tell me people are rebuilding structures at Agbogblosi. What has it got to do with elections? We are in 2024.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing.
People should do their work.
No, but here's the interesting
Election.
thing. Here's the interesting thing. It is the victory that opened the gates for the people to go there. Prior to that, the place was empty. But the thinking was, well, government has changed. This is another government.
So the new government should say no.
No, but they didn't say no.
They should.
When the people were going there, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, and again I put this to you if you recall, at the time said that she had sent a report to the president asking the president what to do with the people who had moved into Agbogblosi. It's not like these are the questions that journalists have not asked. Journalists asked the regional minister, Madam Oklu.
Asked the president what to do.
Yes, she said she had sent a report to the presidency asking what to do. And I asked you this question: why had she done that? And you, on that day, told me that electoral consequences.
I don't remember.
Because this was 2 or so weeks ago. Everybody remembers this conversation.
Remember.
You said that because the president has to think about electoral consequences.
Really?
The regional minister doesn't have to think about that. But perhaps the fact that the regional minister doesn't have to think about that because maybe her seat is in Shai, but she has to deal with this matter. Perhaps that is what would have insulated her from all this so that she can do a good job. But the thing is, Bernard, every decision that will change this city or any other city in this country will not be taken because or implemented fully because it has electoral consequences.
Wait, let's.
I'm very confident in that assertion. I'm very confident in that assertion.
I refuse to accept that because it means that the people who will eventually benefit from the good decision cannot think straight for themselves.
No. Here's the thing. My thinking of how the city works and this process is that the city authorities, politicians, those in that area, in that arena, do not consider those who don't live in those areas as key.
So they only listen to those who are in the situation.
You understand? So, for instance, if I complain about this, the thinking of the politician who's listening to me is, well, you live in Dansuma, what is your business? You are well off. That is the assumption. So, what exactly is your problem? There is no consideration of the fact that, well, I have to look at this thing every morning when I wake up. I have to drive past it every morning when I wake up. And that it impacts how I get to work. Even though I don't live in that part of town. So everything around us impacts us one way or the other. But the thing is, everybody looks at the numbers. Those who have to make those decisions will tell you that, well, there are 300,000 people in that space. Think again, 300,000 people I don't want to upset. 300,000 people that potentially I can convince to vote for me.
So leaving them to live in that insanitary condition is the best way to appease them?
Yes, because the decision to improve their lives is too hard and they'll tell you it's too expensive. This is the cheaper option. And then this is the path of least resistance.
Then that's not leadership. That's something else.
That is getting along. We get along.
That's terrible.
But I asked you this also the other time, and listeners bear me out on this. That's which city works in Accra? Samens was in the Volta region recently. I heard him talk about Ho and parts of the Volta region, and it seems to work.
When I interviewed Professor Dakwa, he said probably Sunyani.
Sunyani as well.
And then maybe Akosombo. Maybe Akosombo.
Because of the VRA.
Yeah, so it's a close community. But you're right, there's a lot
which city works?
And you know what's even funny? When you drive on a caravan, even you see filth. Like you drive on vast swaths of land and you see like bola. On roads.
I normally don't have the opportunity to use other cities in other regions because I'm not I haven't traveled
You're not
around
a good
Ghana.
traveler.
Yes, I haven't traveled around Ghana in a while, so I tend to limit myself to what happens in my immediate environment, which is basically Accra, and the parts that I use. Bernard, the parts that I use, I do not think any city. You see, sometimes when you talk about this, people look. Every city has its good parts and its bad parts. I'll tell you a story. So when you go to Equatorial Guinea, there's Malabo 1, and then there's Malabo 2. Officially, one is the old capital, one is the new capital.
Okay.
So when the decision was made to build a new capital, there was a decision that the new capital will look like this to the front. And then we shift everything that is bad to the back, which is in Malabo 2. So if you want to experience a certain part of the city, you would have to go to a certain place to see some of the things that we complain about here.
So that's the
But
Malabo one.
yes, but in large swaths of the central city, there is an attempt to make it look presentable because the way it looks impacts the economy, it impacts lifestyles, it impacts a lot of things. And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of other major cities around the world or even around us. So those who have been to Cotonou, would tell- it doesn't, when people mention Cotonou as an example, Cotonou is not perfect. There are parts of Cotonou that are filthy. But there are more parts of Cotonou that are organized, that are cleaner than not. If we could say same for Lome,
Okay.
I could say same for Nairobi. I lived there for a long time. It's not a perfect city. There are really bad parts of Nairobi.
Yep.
But there are more parts of Nairobi that are good and clean and organized and structured than bad. In fact, there is clarity within the city on what can be done where. Now let's reverse it and come to Accra. I asked you the last time in Accra, which part of Accra can't you sell? If you asked me this question about Nairobi, I can tell you immediately where you cannot sell. I will mention the places. You can't sell here. You can't sell in this part. Why? Everybody who lives in that city will tell you where you can sell and where you cannot sell. I asked you this question in Accra, and listeners can help me. Which part of Accra can't you sell?
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and I felt maybe in front of Jubilee House.
In front of Jubilee House, the policemen are there, people are hawking.
These days they don't come there.
They don't?
They are 37, and then they are at
Afrikiko.
But there's the one in front of Christ the King. They don't.
No,
sell
but
them.
if I'm at
So
Afrikiko, I'm fine.
So Afrikiko. So the only one.
What's the distance between Afrikiko and Christ the King?
So like
It's like 100 meters.
100 meters. So that's the only place. So the only place I know you can't hawk. So you can hawk at Afrikiko, you can hawk at 37, but you can't hawk at the Flagstaff House traffic light near Christ the King Church.
And I don't understand how we allow a city to develop like that. So let's take that Accra Mall area. There's a trotro station that is developing
Yes.
right in front of everybody.
In the Shiashi, they had this Tetekwashi Kuku thing.
Yes.
Now there.
Basically, even the original design of that area
Charlie,
was supposed to be for aesthetics.
they didn't do it.
It's supposed to give you a certain feeling.
Sure. People are hungry. I also feeling.
But you see, you see, and that is the thinking of the people who run the city. People are hungry. I will say they're nefe. So that is why there is no pretty part of Accra.
Charlie.
There is no inclination to say that this part of Accra is off limits to this, and that we will create avenues for this part here. We have decided that as a city, everything goes everywhere. We are an equal rights city. I can understand that too.
So is it that in Ghana the laws don't work or what? Because I was talking with a friend interestingly Kenya, and the person was saying that they were trying to set up some shop or something, and that the interior designer said they had to wait for a license. They had to wait. I mean, it's your own shop, right? And you want to change the interior design, and they are basically waiting for city authorities' permit before they do the interior. And I was like, your own shop that you want to. And he said, no, in that country, if you want to do anything on anything, you need a some permit, and if you don't get it, they will take your license.
I'll tell you this. I live in an area called Kileleshwa.
You told me this story before.
Yes, Otaya Road. Oh, that's on that path near the Methodist Rest Center. Those who know the city will know what I'm talking about. And in the area that I live in, basically that would be the size of Dansoman.
Okay.
In the entire area, Bernard, I was trying to connect my TV antenna and my DSTV. Now, my living room is in a certain way. It's in a certain direction. So I told the guy who had come that, Ali, this is my living room. So just put the thing here and connect the short cable for me so that, you know, once I open the door, everything is there.
It's easy.
The guy calls me outside and says, come, look in front of the apartment. It's a 6-story apartment. There were 7 units of 6. And he said, look at the front. I looked at the front. He said, do you see anything here?
Anything here like DSTV something?
I said, no, but this is my living room. He said, no. The county rules indicate that he can only put that thing at the back of the house. So I need to buy more cable.
So there's no way he's going to put it in the front.
The installer told me clearly that I need to buy the cable or he will not install the DSTV.
So ask for his Ghanaian equivalent and you wonder whether a Ghanaian DSTV installer will tell you that he cannot. What law is he even working with? Is he even working on any law?
That is the question.
Who's regulating him?
So what would the DSTV installer working in Dansoman have been told about
whether he can
installing antennas? And it's a conversation that has come up even recently about signages in the middle of the city. Because you are driving and we've turned the entire medians into advertising billboards of different sizes.
There are even traffic lights you cannot see because billboards are blocking them. On the Caprice towards former Boomerang, there's this traffic light that every time I'm approaching, when I'm getting towards Alaju, I can't see the light because somebody has put his billboard on the street light and it's blocking the traffic light. So you're right, there seems to be a lot of laissez-faire in Ghana. Let me go to Kumasi and speak to Bright
on the fire.
My correspondent, one of my correspondents there. So the Adum fire, I saw some of the images, pretty shocking. So Bright Yeboah, Ashanti regional correspondent, is at Adum market. Bright, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Bright, what can you report? What's going on in Adum?
Yes, so I'm currently here at the Adum where the fire keeps, in fact, burning. So many shops actually been burning since the fire started around early part of the morning, around 6 o'clock, where most people basically is that they can't even do what they do. They don't know what they're doing right now. Most of them are running shelter. Some of them actually trying to salvage most of their things. It's really very bad here. Most of them, they don't know what they are doing, running up and down. In fact, I can confirm that I can count about 5 fire tenders here trying to quench the fire. But as it stands,
how big is the area? How big is the area the fire is? Is it a few shops or a large number of shops?
It's not just shops. We have range of buildings. Currently, about 3 buildings have been gassed. These buildings have so many stores here. So many stores here, and they keep burning. It hasn't stopped. It doesn't look like it's actually going to stop anytime. But the fire service people are still trying to control the fire. Bernard.
Do you know what time the fire started?
It started in early part of the morning, around 6 o'clock.
So which part of Adum is this? Is this can you describe it for those who know? Which part of Adum are we talking about?
We're talking about the Adum PZ. So from the building just close to, a lot of people actually know where the Hello FM is. The building just adjacent the Hello FM building. That's where it actually started. And actually spreading through to down the footbridge that leads to the Roman Hill. And most people who actually know the Roman Hill too actually will actually understand the number of stores and the number of buildings that actually occupy the place. So it also has actually caused the, over here, most people know it to be the blue store, the railways, around railways, the Adum railway, where they sell watches, they sell almost everything here. Bernard.
Wow. So you said there are 5 fire tenders. Does it look like they are able to bring the fire under control since they got there?
Currently, it doesn't look like it. They are currently being overwhelmed with the fire. But they are still trying to do something, but the fire keeps spreading.
Okay, so you stay safe, and then we'll come back to you for more reports. Bright, thank you so much. So we have been talking to one of our regional correspondents in Ashanti, and I've seen the videos. We'll put them online. It's quite a big area,
yeah,
and the fire looks, the plumes of smoke are big.
Yeah.
So this is huge.
People should stay safe.
Godfrey, this is my worry about Ghana. For me, when something bad happens, it should give you impetus to take a drastic action.
No.
I think our market fires have gotten to a point where if we have serious leadership within that space, we should be able to use it to make some proper reform. It looks like we are getting used to it. There's a market fire. Another market fire.
The market leadership itself is not interested. And someone who's listening to us on Twitter perhaps tried to offer an explanation. So let me see. Dram Mujet Lee says, guys, the market women fear that having agreed to relocate for redevelopment, they will not get back that space. Their spaces will be sold to persons who have the ability to pay.
But wasn't KJTR rebuilt? KJTR was rebuilt. There were agitations, but I mean, largely, KJTR is a better version than it was 20 years ago. Indeed, I think
a safer version.
Yes, KJTR was finished around 2015, 2016. Okay, so the examples are there. I feel like there's the will to do it is the issue. Because KJTR is a huge market, right? They've rebuilt it. Kaneshi market is fairly decent in terms of the way it was planned.
Not the way it currently is.
True.
It's a mess.
They try to do parts of Medina market. It's been difficult. You are right. A lot of it is the people in the market themselves don't want change. But
yes.
But that's why you have leadership.
No, because you see, it's an open economic enclave, basically. You can show up today with once you go and you find out the market leadership, perhaps register, pay a bit of a levy, they'll find you space in 24 hours.
But but that's not the problem, so long as there's some structure around how the spaces are allocated.
But the spaces are overpopulated. The Kaneshi market is not the space there. The Kaneshi market is the yellow building.
Okay, now let me go back. So
here's the thing. What was the plan for the expansion of the Kaneshi market by the city authorities? That if this market grows, it will go from here to this point, and that without getting in the way of, you see, because my one gripe is we seem to throw away the convenience of everybody else for petty traders and hawkers. I'm not being rude about it.
I get your point.
But it's like everybody else does not matter in the city so long as people who are trading
but
and
you know
who are hawking and who are in some other kind of informal work is okay.
So let me try and make it. So when I was in Medina, I was born in Medina.
Yes.
So I know Medina market very, very well. Medina Airman Council used to be in the market. Medina market was a place you could demarcate. When you get to Zongo Junction, you walk for maybe 200 to 300 meters from your left, the market begins. And the market goes all the way to before the old police station, Medina police station. Okay, now where the new police station is. So Medina police station is the middle of the market. Then you walk towards the post office. On that, they call it Medina Old Road. That's Medina market. So this is in the 90s. Bro, now when you get to Zongo Junction, the market has started. Now the end of Old Road is called Taxi Rank. The market, so Randy Pharmacy, the market is there. Then when you are going towards Ritz Junction, the market used to be from Ritz, there used to be Redco. So if from Ritz, you go to Redco before you go to Ritz Junction. The market is basically now at Ritz. And then so basically what used to be like I don't know how example to use. So what used to be like maybe 5 football fields, it's not like 70 football fields. And there's all market. And people are selling everywhere. My point is that the local governance of Medina was lazy, because as the market develops, there are ways of managing revenue collection to build it logically.
Yeah.
If local government is working.
Yeah.
So the reason why the petty trader is a nuisance is that the leadership has not made provision for her.
Yes.
And he hasn't made provision for her because there's no proper system that manages the market in a way that is transparent. Trotro drivers are selling, are doing
Parking
their
anywhere.
People have I don't know. So this is the thing. If you don't break into how we manage the resources of the market, the market tools and all those things, plus any other IGF, you get it, then there's no way you are going to create even a space for hawkers who want to sell. So they'll all go anywhere. So I think it goes back to poor local governance,
Yes.
which then leads to lawlessness.
Yes.
Okay, then the regional government to Greater Accra region is difficult because Greater Accra, the seat of government is here. So Greater Accra regional minister is that weak. Of course, Henry Cote tried, but I think the new one is not that strong if you look at the way a leader is supposed to be. Then Kumasi is another area. So my issue with Kumasi is that, look, you have the Otumfo in Ashanti. There has to be some collaboration between local governance and traditional authority to bring sanity to the space. I don't know how they do it. A lot of people in Kumasi take the law into their own hands and they give all kinds of excuses. So it's almost, so I think for the Kumasi case, the traditional authority should be stronger in helping local government to work. Do you get it? Because people will be lawless and they will use the name of a chief to do what they do. Do you get it? So whether it's tax payment, organizing a market, but we can't have a one size fits all solution to
Of course,
market.
every city has its own problems.
You know, I think Kojo Bonsu did a pretty good job in building KJTR market. He had a good relationship initially with Menchia before his problem started. Okay, but my point is that there's no way this country will develop if local government quality doesn't improve. So maybe it's good they haven't appointed the DCs yet. Maybe it's good because they should look at the challenges for each city peculiarly, and for some of them expand the scope and get better people than they've had in the past. Because if you rush and just name people there, they may not be able to do anything. Okay, so let's let them wait, because Medina is now so huge. Like basically Medina and Adenta is now joined together, and it's a large market. I don't know who's in charge of that market.
Because there's a lot of traffic. Yeah?
I mean, traffic. In fact, if you add Zongo to Medina, to Adenta, to Ashalibotwe, it's almost like Aswa.
Yes. So the question I'm asking then is, what? So I don't live in that part of town. I have a meeting. Traditionally, it's supposed to perhaps take me 10 minutes to move from the University of Ghana to get to Adenta.
To take you 30 minutes.
It will take me 30 or 40 minutes. Who is thinking about the fact that it's supposed to take a regular person 10 minutes? If it takes the person 40 minutes, why is it taking everybody 40 minutes? But that consideration is never done. The consideration is, people have to earn a living. So forgetting that the person who also has to go from Legon to Adenta also has to earn a living.
Whose job?
One way or the
whose
other.
job is it? Is it the transport minister's job to ensure your mobility? Is it the roads minister to make sure
all of them?
good?
Now here's the thing. Let's take the flower pot one. I haven't used it yet. You have. I've used the Obechebi one. When they build these new roads, and it is integrated into the city's transport system, which of them tells you that buses can't stop here?
Nothing.
So
the signage is even done later.
Yes. No, they just give you Odoko, Odona, Graphic Road.
So they don't even tell you which vehicles are to use what.
You see? Meanwhile, in other places, clearly, you would be told that buses can't stop here. You stop, we'll fine you. And they will actually fine you. So over a period of time, a habit is created where the transport unions themselves know that
We can't use this
We
road.
can't use this road as a pickup lane or something. We can just drive through. So I'll give you again. Let's go back to Obechebi. When you are coming from the Zongo Junction side and you cross Abosio Kai and you are making the right towards to join Graphic
Road.
to join Graphic Road. As soon as you cross the roundabout
Yeah.
towards the Stanbic Bank, everywhere along that section of this new road is a bus stop now. Trotro stop everywhere. As soon as you are making the curve that joins the road, it's a bus stop. How is that? How are Trotros even stopping in that curve? Nobody cares. Just as when you join that lane, and you are now joining from those who are coming from Kaneshi from the top. On your right, just before the Goyle and Shell filling stations on your right, like this, opposite former MTN, it's a bus stop.
So basically, people can stop anywhere.
They can, you see, but the nature of this road is such that it's not supposed to be even possible for trotros, taxis to stop and load, but that is the norm. Now, when people know that a trotro stops here, a taxi stops here,
They also go and wait there.
they also wait there.
So that becomes another traffic.
So that becomes another traffic. So a road that is just supposed to give you easy thoroughfare
becomes
suddenly every 2 meters you have to stop, because there are human beings stopping, there are trotros stopping, there are taxis stopping, there are people hailing them on that side to pick up. Nobody has come out to say that, okay, the nature of this road is such that in this area you can't stop here. If you want to stop, go and stop at this point and walk back.
Let me take a breather. You've succeeded in even depressing me.
Oh, I want to make you happy.
So many comments coming up on this matter. Here's a few. Kumasi is one of the most lawless places on earth. Oh, it's surprising that the Asantini hasn't leveraged its immense power and authority to bring some order to the city. This coming from a listener who's very concerned.
Yeah. A couple more. Kokubansa says, the military and the police service have been serviced enough. It's about time we focus our attention on servicing the National Fire Service. This is Kokubansa. Good morning, guys. I trust you are doing well. Yes, we are. I think you should call Accra authorities and ask them questions about the Agbeblosi settlement and why they are allowing resettlement of the people from them. Oh, we did so last month. Hello, Ben and team. As we celebrate Ghana Month and discuss cleanliness in the city, I have a few questions about the capital.
It's called Heritage Month. It's not Ghana Month.
Yes, Heritage Month. What is the capital of Ghana? Who designated it as the capital? Is there any document to support this decision? How long has Accra been the capital? Are there plans to relocate the capital? Kind regards, Divine. Bernard, come to Accra Central. Right from Kingsway to UTC, traders are sharing the road with vehicles. What boss me cries the railway bus stop. It was expanded so trotros will get enough space to park and not interfere with the road. But what do we see today? Hawkers and sellers have taken over that space. Joseph from Cantonment is very annoyed this morning. Bernard,
Yes.
the guys, they hawk around Christ the King Junction all the way to the foot of the overpass during rush hours. They even rest at the Flagstaff House bus stop. What Godfrey is saying is true. In Dubai, there's a place called Dera. You cannot sell in the city center because there are premium hotels and shopping malls. You go further south, it's the Ashanti town, where you will see street hawkers all over the place. Bernard, the resettlement at Agbeblosi is because NDC won the election. The NPP wanted them out, the NDC wants them there. I am surprised you are surprised.
Assembly
Bukati from New Ningo.
Lord.
Bernard, on this issue of markets, I visited Adenta Market and it's so neat and well ventilated, has so much parking space and social amenities. I was shocked to hear patrons complain it's a bit expensive and rather go to the kiosk in Medina. I feel Ghanaians just don't want development. I have stopped going to Medina because at Adenta, I can park and shop safely with my family. Kojo from Ajingano.
I want listeners to tell me whether they agree with Kojo or not. Kojo says Ghanaians don't want development. That a well-demarcated, neat market does not attract patronage because we say that things are expensive. And then we'll go to... Me, I haven't gone to Medina Market properly in almost 10 years. What? I can't
You can't survive.
Meanwhile, I was literally born in the market.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's too much for me now.
Anyway, I'm coming. I'll give you an example. So, dear City CBS, on the issue of markets, the chaos in the markets is because the city is expanding without new markets to serve the new areas. Take Medina, for example. It serves the residents from Medina all the way to Dodowa and Ebri. There should have been a market around Amrahia or Oyibi. This is Hafiz.
Well, that's a very good point. But you see, sometimes you have one big market that attracts. You know, we are not trying to break down markets to make them smaller.
Yeah.
If you live in and around this enclave, what are the big markets you can go? I'm talking about Medina, Legon, Adenta, Achimota, Domi Market, Medina Market. Adenta Market is small. So yes, the Medina Market, I think apart from Agbogbolosi and Accra and maybe Kaswa,
Yes.
the biggest market, in fact, Medina Market is probably one of the 10 biggest markets in the country.
Okay.
It's huge. It's massive. You know, my point is that the Medina Assembly ought to do much better in even demarcating the spaces, collecting revenue, and making the place a bit more manageable.
Yeah.
I don't think they've done that.
They just left it to itself.
That's
You can
what we do.
You can do whatever you want there.
It's just amazing. So you don't, and for me, it's governance. Local governance is very weak.
Because local governance is very much focused on votes.
And then we are going to make it worse. Then because now that we are going to ask for mayors to be voted from partisan lines, that's not going to make anything better.
Yeah, but the point is
So,
because
but it means that the people don't want good things. Then it means
Yes.
that Kojo is right.
Yes.
It means that Ghanaians,
I agree with Kojo,
Ghanaians
100%.
don't want.
no.
But is that true? But why did they complain?
Oh no, because we like to complain because it's fun to complain.
Oh, are you serious that they don't want development? That if they see a well-planned market with good amenities, they will not patronize it.
No, they will patronize it. Those who want to patronize it will patronize it. But then people will also sit back and figure out, oh, okay, so this bus stop here, the truck I can just park here. So let me move my table slightly to the road so that I will gain an advantage. Now, when that happens, nobody within the market space will come and say, you can't be here. There are supposed to be rules about market. Look, I grew up in Dansuman. Those who grew up in Dansuman around the time when the old control market was there. Now, the old control market is where you now have the Shell filling station, the Burger King, Starbites, that enclave. That is where that used to be the old market. And that served Dansuman. Bernard. It wasn't an ultra-modern market. It had the wooden store tables and whatnot. Ask anybody who lived in Dansuman in the early 90s whether that place was ever dirty. That is where everybody who lived in Dansuman
Went to shop. So what has changed?
Then we built the new market slightly down the road. Well demarcated with the parking lanes. There's a fire station at the back. It is total chaos in this rather modern infrastructure that we have. And this was, the place is, Bernard, that place smells. The old market was there for close to 40 years. Bernard, on Sundays, when we close from church, Emmanuel Presby, we walk through the market.
Can you imagine?
To go home.
With no problem.
With no problems. Bernard,
Today,
if I tell you to go and stand by the gutter or at the new market, you will die.
so whilst we say we are in a modern time, we actually gone backwards.
Yes, and you see, the thing
Gone
is,
backwards.
the same problem we've seen with Kanishi or any other modern market is what we've seen there. And perhaps that's also born out of the rules of the market not being enforced, the local assembly not being interested in enforcing their own local rules on where one can be, because you've built as a market. Now, the front part of the market is where I'm supposed to park my car and enter the market. Where I'm supposed to park my car,
Somebody has taken over and
it's the market itself now.
So there's no parking.
So where should I park my car? Now, you have created a space for trotros station, for the trotros to park, offload and go. Right? Now, where the trotro station is, there are 3 Wache joints.
Oh, Lord.
There is 2 Kenke joints. There is 1 Nama joint.
All on the same lane.
On the same lane. Okay? So if even 3 trotros show up at the same time, that road is closed. So you have now roads entering the main road, opposite what used to be Gold House. So that place is totally chaotic. Now at the back, where the fire station is, you have people who have turned it into a poultry farm and goat farm.
Oh gosh.
Middle Dansuma. Middle Dansuma.
Poultry farm and a goat farm.
And it's a slaughterhouse as well. They kill the chickens there.
The same place.
The same place. They are boiling the chickens there. Like the old fashioned, the tripod is there. They are killing the chickens. They are killing the goats. They are doing everything there. But that wasn't part of the original design. So there is no the original design created room for a slaughterhouse. He's inside. The butcher is inside. But all the others have been allowed to come outside. Now, here's the thing. Opposite where these people have set up is a whole estate. I think it belongs to one of the ministries or so. So, Bernard, this person is expecting that, I have some guests coming. You open your gate,
then you have,
and you are met with chickens, goats, excreta, everything. And the thinking of the city is you cannot complain because somebody must earn a living. So somebody must earn a living. I can't sleep in peace. You see, it's like we've told ourselves quality of life of the basic Ghanaian doesn't matter. All that matters is you must earn daily bread.
Maybe,
and it doesn't matter how you earn the daily bread.
Maybe we should ask Ghanaians in a survey what they really want in life. Because I think that, here's another message who agrees with Kojo. He says, Bernard, I agree with Kojo, the texter. Adenta market is clean. You don't see foodstuffs on the bare floor. I love to shop there. No kayayi. Market women can help you with your stuff to your car. Sane environment. But people will not go to Adenta market. They would rather go to Medina.
Why? Maybe they'll tell you that it's cheaper.
It's a dream, because I always tell people that you go to Medina market, you go and park at some place, or you take a trolley, then you walk for another 500 meters to enter and buy Agbelima for 2 cedis less than you buy it in Adenta, and you think you have done something great. The one that you buy in Adenta for 2 extra cedis, so you see, people calculate money from a very strange perspective. Going to that Medina market chaos to go and buy the variety you buy at maybe 5 cedis cheaper.
You shortened your life.
You are smelling bad fumes. You're probably going to fall in a gutter. You are going to buy food that's less hygienic.
Robbed.
You get it? So I think that our thinking is a problem.
Let me read one message for you, Bernard.
Charlie.
On this matter. Abeko, help me out.
Our thinking is a problem, Ghanaians. We don't want good things.
Abeko, help me out a bit.
We don't want good things. So many comments on that.
Oh, a lot. So let me do this round. Bernard, are the authorities aware a section of the Tetekwashi roundabout is gradually turning into a total station? That's what
It has become.
What are we doing to ourselves? Anyone can get up and just start anything without any regulation.
Oh, God.
That same Tetekwashi, someone is mounting a billboard that will potentially block the view of drivers. And no one is saying anything. Ghana is lawless. And you see, here's the thing about that Tetekwashi thing. This is supposed to be prime crowd.
Charlie?
If somebody can get up and set up trotro station in prime Accra without city authorities noticing, without city authorities as acting, what makes you think that they're concerned about Abu Glushi? Let me continue. Ghanaians want development and change as a concept, but not in action.
Sorry, Ghanaians want
development and change as a concept, but not in action. This is really nice. Most aren't ready to do what it takes for change to happen. If the change doesn't affect their way of life, they are happy once it impacts them directly, and they complain left and right if it doesn't. Guys, in Ghana, there is no proper planning around the development of our cities. Everything is allowed to slide in the name of political expediency, and man must eat. Structures or kiosks come up everywhere, and there's no proper bifurcation between what is commercial space and what is a residential space. If you complain, you are too known. I was shocked when I saw people hanging and selling clothes on top of the overhead pedestrian walkway at Spanner, right in front of Villaggio. That is the spine of the city. How do city authorities even allow this to happen and not do anything about it? We are going nowhere. We are going to where only God knows. Adum from East Legon.
Charlie, this
Bernard,
is worse than I
the
thought.
reason hawkers are not in front of the Flagstaff has nothing to do with the fear of authorities. The simple truth is that there isn't enough traffic or footfall in that area to make it a viable spot for their business. Hawkers go to where the people are. where there's demand for their goods and services. The Flagstaff House, being secured a less crowded area, doesn't offer the bustling environment they need to thrive. This isn't about intimidation. It's purely about economics and practicality. If we want to address the issue of hawkers in certain places, we need to focus on providing them with better, more accessible locations where they can operate without disrupting traffic or public order.
Yeah, that's the point, because
Yes,
they sell
fair
in front
point.
of the former president's house.
Where? Nima?
Nima police station, Nima traffic light, they sell there. The president lives just across, the former president. So they are not afraid. So, yeah.
Oh, Bernard.
Yeah.
I work in Tamale, and I returned to Accra last week. It was absolute chaos.
How?
Buying things and moving was so difficult.
Ah.
I wrote an entire piece called Urban Chaos. How can I send it to you or Godfred to read? Jay from Medina.
Jay, just send it by
Info.
WhatsApp to this. No,
To this number.
Send it as
this number.
a Word document to this number.
Yes.
Then my Abeku will
deal with
download
it
for me.
Good morning, Aloski and team. Good morning. Please, the footbridge in front of Kaneshi is occupied with hawkers.
Kaneshi Market.
Yes, Kaneshi Market is occupied with hawkers and traders, and it is filled with filth and is dirty with plastics hanging on the handrails.
Oh.
Please, you guys should go and visit the place for the authorities to do something about it. Thanks and keep up the good. The authorities are there. They haven't seen it. Robert,
Ghanaians, do we want clean environment? Do we want neat markets? What do we want?
Bernard, the kind of compulsion or brute force, uncompromising, sustained strictness needed to change things cannot be found in this democracy created and perpetuated over the years. This is why I'm sure at the rate the political, technocratic, bureaucratic leadership has prosecuted the hypocritical development agenda, Ghana will eventually come to destruction. Oh, Tofik, Lakeside Estate.
Very fatalistic point.
Tofik from Lakeside Estate says, good morning. How do you discuss markets and forget about the Nima market? Bernard, we need to rezone our markets and lorry stations.
I've driven to Nima Market. I won't say Nima Market, just through Nima a few times.
Yes.
I mean, because I'm a Medina person, nothing in Nima shocks
you.
You get it? I mean, Medina and Nima is the same. So, it's probably, I don't know. But I think
more messages for you.
I think we need to think about the point Kojo made, that Adenta market is relatively neat. There are no kayaye because, usually kayaye are needed because where your vehicle is and where you buy the thing is long. So they need to help you. Adenta market is not that way. They properly built it and they don't put food on the floor. They are stalls. People don't patronize it a lot.
And just look, Bernard,
maybe because they don't have variety.
This is my good friend Ohini Brenya at Happy FM just took a video this morning on his way to work of the Tetekwashi Trotro station. Look, the city authority.
It's becoming bad, eh?
It's like, Bernard, I mean, we'll try and put it on our socials for people to look at, but take a look. And
it's a
full-blown Trotro station. The city authorities need to take some action. And you know what? When you are
with buses and things,
and everything, and the Kufuor site, when you are coming from,
they call it Spanner Junction.
When you are coming, I'm just saying when you are coming from Jolu, so from Fiesta, as you enter to join the roundabout, on your right,
yes,
they've turned it into a petrol station as well.
Near Kufuor's house.
Yes, that's side.
Oh,
so you have trotros joining the road as a station from where they've parked these old Land Rovers that are used as tow trucks.
Okay, good, perfect. Shouldn't the question be, why aren't we building proper stations for them? You see,
no,
because if
I even like to ask that question.
Why is it not a question?
No, you see, because they are supposed to know where they can be and where they cannot be. We cannot use convenience as an excuse. Otherwise, everywhere is convenient.
Okay.
People will tell you that, what the workers who live in the area, where should they get buses to work?
They should stop at the bus stop.
But there's a bus stop. That whole interchange was designed with a massive bus stop. The bus stop under that footbridge that crosses to the Accra.
So they don't need a proper station.
Bus stop.
They don't need a proper station there.
No,
because there's even now another station that's developed there, which takes you to Ho, Aflao, Denu, and things. There's another lorry station there.
But the point is, we put a mall there, right? Now, where that mall is, we now have two trotro stations. I don't know which one of them is legal.
We have a market.
We have a market within the garden that was created, as far as we don't like gardens and flowers. That was supposed to be an open space for people. We've turned it into an alternative Accra mall. City authorities are looking on. Why? Because people have to earn a living.
Do we even have city authorities?
Yeah.
Who is the mayor? Who is the mayor?
That one is that not part of Lekma or Lakma? You know that place well.
It's mixed up. It's become Ayawaso Westward.
I'm always confused.
It's about 3.
Let me read messages for you.
gosh.
Bernard,
Charlie.
that fellow is right. Ghanaians aren't prepared for actual development.
Oh.
We like the optics.
Oh.
This sort of development we keep talking about means certain uncomfortable things, like increased regulation that entails individual freedoms we currently enjoy, such as the ability to burn your own rubbish in your backyard or set up a kiosk to sell your home-cooked meals in your neighborhood. Remember when market women in the past complained about moving to a newly built and paved space? Who is going to tell the trotro driver that he will be fined if he parks 5 meters away from a designated spot? Do you remember when the Spanner Bridge was built and a fence erected in the middle of the road to prevent crossing? I recall seeing someone climbing through a gap in the fence to get to the other side. We are not ready for proper rule of law. Our revealed preference is for our petty freedoms. Jojo from Lashibi with a really good message there. Richard from Community 18 says, human beings are all lawless. The only thing that keeps us in line is law. When Ghanaians go to JFK, they are in line. In Kotoka, they are not in line. Chaotic. It's just about human beings. Solution. Local governance should work with market queens and kings to plan it properly and be fair. I agree with Kojo with 100 bags of cement. And by Kojo, he means the person who sent that message. The only country that is developing backwards is Ghana. Ghanaians simply do not want development.
So the people who are talking, and you and I, what are we? Are we the minority, or are we hypocritical, or are we? Because most people who listen to the show say they agree with the things we are saying, yet most people do opposite to what we are saying. You know, so I don't know, Ghanaians. I'm okay. I don't even know. Should we now go and say, let's raise a new breed of teenagers and youth?
No.
To now come and live because this generation is lost.
No. What I get, let me ask this question. Like for the residents, and my good friend former refugee Amenya, he says, Charlie, he's upset with Accra. He says Tetekwashis an eyesore.
Oh.
You know, and also says we should talk about the stations on the motorway, Manet Junction, and the link to Trasako.
Good.
You know that part of
Let
town.
me read a message that came in relation to the new Manet Road and an accident that it caused.
Okay, tell me about it.
Actually, I don't know why he said good evening.
It became late.
He sent it later, but I didn't see it. So he sent this like yesterday also.
Last night.
My name is Kojo. I got your number from a friend. I'd like to brief you about a terrible accident that happened on Monday, 17 March, on the new road that has just been constructed from Palace Mall all the way to Manet, or the Tessie Link Road. It's like a 3 stretches of road.
Okay.
2 lane, 2 lane, 2 lane, from Palace Mall all the way to Tessie.
Proper road, eh?
Very good road.
Okay.
Now, a vehicle on reaching the roundabout at the Regimano Estate veered off the road and ran into a cafe which has just been wrongly sited on the road reservation. Lekma's attention was drawn to this in January, as well as urban roads, and before the accident, the Ministry of Highways, but nothing was done. This accident on 17th March is one of many that has happened at the same place since February 2025. I'm willing to provide you with more information about this for you to discuss on radio, to get the relevant authorities to act to prevent more accidents at that spot. You can call me when it's convenient for you. Kindly keep my name and number confidential. So he sends a video, and I know that road very well. What is even funny is that on Sundays, a church blocks 1 lane of that road. So there are 3. So you see the Tessie Link Road.
Yeah.
So it's a very convenient road. So you know the old Spintex Road. Now you only use it if you really want to drop people off the shops on that road. So if you're coming from Spintex and you want to get to Palace quickly, you just use, when you get to Frames Oil, you just veer off briefly to Tessie, and then you take this 3-lane road. On Sundays, there's a church. I think it's Synagogue Church. Their church members park. So there are 3 roads. One next to the church, one in the middle, one on the left. They park like, say, 1 kilometer.
Hey!
So the whole road in front of the church, in fact, their security guards basically just
take over the road.
They conduct traffic.
They coordinate traffic.
So they leave 2 of the roads for us, and they've now built a new KFC at some shell there. So that whole place is just on Sundays.
It's a madhouse.
Now this guy is saying that the way the roundabout was done, a cafe has been wrongly sited And the people who designed the road know this, but they couldn't do anything about it. You know, I am getting to believe that maybe the person who texted and said Ghanaians like change as an academic
as a concept.
idea. We like the idea of change, but when it has to do with our behavior, I don't like it. My only concern is people discuss this from a point of view of, well, if you don't bring brute force, people will not conform. There's a big gap between being in a society of rule of law and being lawless.
Yes.
I think institutions should be made to work by leaders who insist on the right things being done. Okay, it's not that we need brute force. I think people who lead are not enforcing the law using the available structures.
Yes.
So there's courts.
You just ignore it.
Yes, there's fines. People don't want to do the difficult work of leadership. What they want to do is they want to point the finger at somebody else and they don't want to take this decisive action. I know that many Ghanaians will try and cut corners when they run into trouble. They'll call one or two people. But if you call and you don't get anybody helping you, you will do the right thing. You get it? People believe they have the right to like they are exceptional. So if we do the wrong, it shouldn't affect us. Everybody else is wrong. That's part of our problem. I also think that local governance has been weakened continuously because of the way our politics works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if voting for local government leaders is the issue. I think it's choosing better people or making the position a position that people arrive at by merit. All right. Central government needs to understand that for Ghana to develop, local governance must be strong. And so it's not just having great ministers, but it's having solid. I made this proposal and it was not taken, that the best quality people in this NDC should be made DCs.
Yes.
They didn't listen to me.
We haven't seen the list yet.
Well, so maybe there are some good, but most of the people have been appointed already.
Can I ask you something? Have you ever on a regular day, and listeners can also answer this question, met any of our high-ranking leaders, politicians taking walks in the city before?
They do it sometimes at dawn.
Where? Like in their neighborhoods? Where?
Those days that I used to use the airport enclave from Association School to appear at Gold House. Once or twice I'll see a couple of people. Sometimes East Legon, I'll see one or two people. Sometimes you see people on the Mahama Road.
Not regular people. Like I'm saying, that's not you.
No, I don't know. I don't know where our political Roman. I know where they live.
Yes, so that's why I'm asking the general public.
No, our politicians live around cantonments, Roman Ridge, Laboni.
So they can take walks there.
I don't know. Maybe in Adum. So, for example, behind Parliament, some of them live in some of those estates behind Parliament all the way through Osu.
You know why I'm asking this? Because in my 17 years as a reporter, on various assignments, one of the big things I learned was that our politicians love nature.
They do, eh?
They love nature.
Are you sure?
They love nature walks. They like sitting in parks. They like places with structure and form. Because you meet them at all those places when you're on assignment with them.
They love nature as a concept.
No. They love nature. I was in Gabon on assignment somewhere. Bernard, I was there for a month and a half.
And you saw our politicians?
Every single day when I wake up and I'm standing in front of my balcony, I see our politicians taking walks, having chats. And they will sit down in some park. You see them having their drinks. You are walking through town somewhere, you see them in their shorts. They are sitting down happily, and I'm asking myself, hey, so can you where? So you know what is nice.
And you come to your own country, you make it nice.
One of them, there was an incident I recall, I will not mention the person's name, where within like 30 minutes, the police resolved the situation, and this politician was amazed at how that situation was resolved, the speed, the modernity of it, couldn't shut up about it, and continued on his lovely walk that morning. The evenings as well, you will meet them. I recall another assignment elsewhere. I was in some part of town doing my own thing.
So your conclusion is what?
No, my conclusion is, I don't meet them here. And I'm a mover. And by mover, I mean like Michinkakra. in the city, and maybe others too. So I'm asking, like, our listeners, do they meet them? Because these are not posh areas I'm talking about when we travel. These are places that will be considered a regular part of where you find yourself in the city. But they are able to take, some of them take 1 hour walks.
Let me ask another question.
You hold on for me if you don't mind.
Okay.
So the question I ask myself is, obviously,
They
when
know
they
what is
walk,
nice.
they ponder about these things. They are amazed.
You wonder what
by
they're
these
thinking
things.
about, though.
But I will meet this same person who comes to Ghana and runs a city, a town, an assembly, and can't seem to do anything proper.
Somebody said our local authorities have no authority. No, I wanted to ask whether it's salvageable in these 4 years.
It is.
Would it just take appointing a different caliber of people? Because there's a view that even appointing the best person without the right structures may not work. So is our problem of solid, good leaders or trustworthy institutions of state? So let me give you an example. Let's take Adenta, which you both, or Dansoma. George Bray was your MC for some time.
Yes.
Okay. Even if I make Chenche, who's somebody I like a lot, I see him as somebody who tried his bit in Accra. If I make Chenche the DCE for Ablekuma West, can he do anything? Because he may mean well, he may have the knowledge and experience, he may be a quality man, but with the kind of system that you people run in Dansoman, Glefe, and then those your places, if he is the MCE, can he do anything? Will his assembly allow him?
Why not?
Because you see, the institution of an assembly versus the person. So I'm pushing.
True.
If you appoint a Chenche as the MCE for Dansoman,
for Ablekuma West,
good. Does it take a solid, strong, fearless leader to bring change? Or does it take a patient, thoughtful institution builder whose job is not even to show that he's strong? So maybe I think what we need is the latter, where you get somebody who say, you know what, I don't even want to do plenty interviews. But if we can build Ablekuma West Assembly to have the right technocrats, for the assembly to all agree on certain things we do, to do community engagement. Do you follow me? So maybe the next crop of MCs should focus more on institution building. Do you get it? So that the institution of the assembly can be more effective rather than showing bravado and I'm strong. Because you've seen that the Henry Cote model is not sustainable. Okay? It's only a matter of time that people will come against you. So the good news is that they haven't nominated any DCE yet. So maybe in choosing DCs, they should look for people who can help the institution to thrive, build a strong assembly, work with the assembly men and women to build consensus on what people want to do, instead of maybe somebody who come and do Rambo style, don't park here, hey, don't do this. Because if the assembly structure works, he has a revenue system, he knows how to organize market collection, he's accountable to the people, and the assembly has different, maybe his town country planner, they are all working. Maybe that gives us a better chance.
It could, but also
you get it? Because sometimes trying to implement change versus trying to build an institution may fight against each other.
Yes.
And I feel like the change implementers like Henry Cote and Co. only succeed for 3-4 months and then they bola.
Yes.
But if you bring people who strengthen the institution to work even without their direct involvement, maybe in 10 years we can change.
They bola because the center does not support them.
Yes.
One, the center never backs them because in the end, the center always makes a voting decision. In our peculiar case. 2, in terms of getting the support of the assembly, I think the biggest disadvantage we have is the lack of participation sometimes of people with understanding of how a space should be governed at the assembly level. I don't mean to sound derogatory, but if we're honest with ourselves, sometimes the people we meet and call who are we call assemblyman, assemblywoman. Their regular understanding of what development of spaces and planning is, sometimes it's even limited. Sometimes their knowledge is very basic. Most of them occupy the roles because it's a means to an end, not because they are actually there to contribute,
or they are even qualified,
or they are qualified for it. So that is also a part of the scenario that needs to be fixed. In, again, my experience from Ablekuma West, maybe Kweku Samini might be...
Who is that?
Samini's big brother. He's my assemblyman. Might be the most progressive assemblyman I have had in my adult life.
Is he still there?
Yes, Kweku Samini is still assemblyman. Last I checked. And even with that, he has limitations. You understand? And I'm sure that might be the case for most parts of
But to the extent
the
that,
city.
so to the extent that the center will not support change makers, the center cannot oppose institution builders. So maybe let's focus on institution builders, because that's quiet. He's building an assembly.
Can you build it quietly?
Yes. If, for example, you are working on...
How do I took you?
Oh no! If you are just quietly, means you are more thoughtful about your process.
Yes.
So let me give you 3 ways. For example, you are doing
But it still impacts people.
in a positive way, and you are not disruptive. You see, the
Yes.
recording model is we will go and we will stop the nonsense and we'll make sure things work. Everybody takes notice of that. People start praising you, and then all of a sudden you get attention, and then you start affecting people, and you can be blamed. But if an assembly says, I'm going to manage space in a more coordinated way, I'm going to build a strong institution, it's more latent. Okay, but you realize that, oh, these people are making enough revenue to run the city. These people are getting the city to be more organized. And you can't even attribute it to one person. It's the assembly that just works. Maybe we should focus on that, building the institution of the assemblies better, so that whoever you put on top of it, the institution is so powerful that it works. Because for me, we are always looking for men to come and save us. And there's no savior anywhere. Because whatever they start, the center will not support it. And they can easily be targeted. But if an assembly is effective, the town planners, the health people, the market people, they are working well. Maybe that one, there's nobody to target. So then that can be more sustained. Let's think about that. I'll take a break. We need ideas, because it's very frustrating living in our city. The Kumasi fire is big. We're told they're trying to bring it under control. And my colleagues in Kumasi will cross over to them again. We'll speak to somebody as well on who knows a bit more about petty traders. He's written a book on them, so he'll probably give us some insight into...
And Delali Dogla Besa has shared a video of the church you were talking about.
Oh,
but this is bad.
So on Sunday morning there, if you're not...
How do you turn a major road into a one lane?
Yeah, you take one lane because they have parked. And they even have security men who will help you to redirect.
And the police allow it?
Well, maybe there's a new IGP, so maybe we don't know.
Hey.
We are basically just...
chatting.
Overwhelmed by the way Accra has become. Somebody had a very interesting take on this.
Okay, tell me.
It says, Bernard, the whole problem of Ghana is a super wicked territorial spirit.
A what?
Super wicked territorial spirit.
Yes.
No amount of theorizing or solution-based approach will help.
Okay.
You just have to give up.
Let me read more for you. Kofi from Spintex says, every day I wonder if we even deserve good roads. The number of accidents on the new road adjacent to Spintex is unbelievable. Despite the runabout, drivers speed recklessly and ignore the right of way. It's just terrible. Hello, Bernard. Our biggest problem as a nation is self-righteousness. Everyone is wrong and we are right, and have been privileged enough to have politicians to blame. Bernard, go to the Upper West. There are countless newly constructed markets, and the people are fighting authorities to move in. We are just not ready for development. Thank you. This is Justice from 37.
There's another one here. It says, we who are listening and contributing are just a handful. Oh. Majority don't care anymore because Ghanaians in general are hypocrites. Even Adenta flat is now flooded with kiosks, which wasn't allowed in the past.
Yeah.
The assemblymen and city guards were the ones aiding those allocating, and the MCs couldn't stop them because they are party foot soldiers. And you know in Adenta. It says, change can only happen if people like you and I join assemblies. As your colleague just said, the current assembly system we are running, 99% of the assembly members are limited in terms of understanding. They are just there for a means of living, not for any serious development, and normally those in the kiosk are the ones that vote for them. The current system, MCs cannot do much. The assembly members are all party affiliated. Take it from me, local government is not working. Having worked in an assembly for 14 years is frustrating. Even the professionals have been turned by party politics into local government. Bernard, Ghana pa. Well, let's speak to the professor. I'm trying to get his name. Just give me a second. You sent it to me. Okay. Listeners, forgive us. Sometimes we get calls.
We get caught up in.
Yeah, Dr. James Mensah, who is at the University of Ghana Business School, and I believe has done a publication, Your Rights and Duties as an Informal Trader, October 2024. I just want to understand where angle is coming from. So, Dr. James Mensah, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
So, thanks for reaching out. So, what angle do you want to come from? Is it the hawkers and the way they sell anywhere? Is it the way trust stations evolve? Is it markets that are not working? What angle are you coming from?
Thank you so much, Bernard. I am often worried about the situation in Accra. Meanwhile, Assembly or MMDCEs have been given enough rights to manage the space. For instance, the MMDCEs have the right to come out with bylaws. So if you look at AMA has a set of bylaws that guides almost everything in Accra. If you go to their latest bylaw, which is the 2017 bylaws, hawkers have bylaws. As a hawker, you need to have a license before you can hawk. You need to wear certain uniform. You need to be fit, assessed by a medical officer before you can hawk in Accra. You need to be of a certain age. The same thing, if you take traders, they need to have a license before they trade. If you take hawkers, everybody, all these things are stated in their bylaws. So in 2 years ago, I consulted for WIGO. WIGO is Women in Informal Economic Globalizing and Organizing. So we examine all the bylaws in AMA, and we try to put it simple for the informal sector workers so that they will understand what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do in Accra. So my point is that the city needs to engage these workers, because there are certain spaces that they are supposed to sell, that there are certain places that they are not supposed to sell. There are certain things. In fact, you need to acquire a license. The truth of the matter is that everybody who works in this space has a license, and they pay daily tolls. So the city is virtually aware of these people operating in this space.
So are you saying that is the assemblies that are just derelicting their duty, that they have the mandate and the power to do the right thing, they just don't want to do it? Is that what you're saying?
They have the mandate, and they have come out with bylaws, and the bylaws actually state what everybody is supposed to do within this space. Unfortunately, it appears like engagement is not happening. So, for instance, WIGO has taken upon itself to continuously engage market traders, informal waste collectors, and hawkers in Accra. We have met them several times, told them about their rights and their responsibilities, what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. All teased out from the Local Governance Act and the AMA bylaws. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, did you engage them in the formulation of these bylaws? Do you disseminate this to these people? Because the bylaws are there. You disseminate it to them. Do you engage them on these bylaws?
Or maybe the problem is beyond the existence of laws to the competence of those running the assemblies in their ability to implement the law. Because clearly the laws are there, but if they are not being implemented, either the people are unwilling or unable to. So maybe we should look beyond the existence of laws to the quality of people who work in these assemblies.
Bernard, this is a very important topic that you have raised. So, for instance, if we take assembly members are virtually like the MPs that we have at Parliament, because the Assembly works in the same way the Parliament works. Now, if you look at the quality of the Assembly members they have, some of them are not up to the task. Very few are up to the task. But we will not also get the quality because, first, Assembly members are not paid. The tax on them is so huge. If you have ever interacted with somebody who has contested as an Assembly member before, you will see the enormity of the tax. People turn their houses into eateries every day. They are there to eat. Somebody's wife has a problem, you have to intervene. So the tax is so much on them that we need first competent people, and we need to remunerate these people so that at least they will do their work.
So maybe the idea to pay them could help to get better people. Is that what we're saying? Because we are told that because a lot of them are political people, they know it's not really a merit-based system of appointing assemblymen, and that's where it starts from. That if the people in the assembly are not development focused or development oriented, there's no way they can supervise anything to be more to bring sanity into our spaces. So the mode of selection should be where the conversation starts from.
So in the election of assembly members, there are things that are on paper and there are things that happen informally. For instance, I know that when you are contesting, political parties try to know, are you on our side or not? And if 2-3 people are on the side of party A, they call them and then they do informal, primaries, and decide that this person should go. For me, over the years, I have argued that the local government and especially the association of the local government, that is NALAG, should actually begin to train people to enter into the assembly. So I have developed a concept called Assembly Members Boot Camp for them. And I hope that very soon they will roll it out. So that in the universities, they try to fish out people, give them the necessary training so that when they go back to their various communities, they can begin to contest as assembly members. So that the quality of the people we are going to get in the assembly is going to be good for us. Because they approve almost everything at the assembly. The medium-term development plan, they have to approve it. The budget of the assembly, they have to approve it. So we need quality people. And before we can get this quality, we must be intentional about it. Even if the political parties are going to do their primaries to allow one person to contest, at least the people who express interest will be people of high quality. And then the parties can do their informal primaries and select one of them to go. So that at least they will be able to hold both the administrative staff and the head of the assembly, that is the that is the district chief executive or municipal chief executive or metropolitan chief executive.
We'll leave it here. Thank you, Dr. James Mensah. And please send us the publication. He's done a book on the issue of petty traders, and he's contributing. He's at the University of Ghana Business School. His book is titled Your Rights and Duties as an Informal Trader. There's an angle to this as well about the mode of selection of assembly, because I think the idea of change maker DCE may not work because the politics will not allow it. So the mode of selection of the assembly, so the quality of the people in assembly is one, and then the viability of the space. So this idea of the preservation of Accra and building small local government areas actually is counterproductive. So you probably need a larger space, which is strange because I thought if you give somebody a smaller space to manage, it's easier than a larger space. But it turns out that if you give the person a smaller space, the quality of people reduces.
Quality of people reduces, and then for us, the bigger problem is coherence. You see? Because what we now have is over 40 or 50 different ways of developing Accra, Accra is not that big. If you look at it in terms of its land mass, Accra is not that big. So to divide it into the arenas in which it has been divided, and for all these arenas to have a very different way, because the way the personality of Ablikuma West is not the personality of Ablikuma Central or Ablikuma South. Okay, and that means the way in which Ablikuma West wants to look is not perhaps the way they feel Ablikuma Central or Ablikuma South should look. And so you have an area that shares a border, but on two very different planes of development.
Yeah.
Okay, in the same capital city.
Let's go back to the issue of selection. You know, I want to speak to Frederick Tete of the EC, who's been, you know, some people want us to vote for MCEs on partisan basis, and they think that that's the missing link for local government. You know, that's a big discussion.
It's
in fact, when the president met the Constitution Review team, he said to them that one of the things that they should consider is the issue of voting for our MMDCEs, Metropolitan Municipal Chief Executives. Does the research show that that's the way to go to give us better development? How do we get better quality power assembly? Mr. Tete, thanks for joining us. So as we speak, the local government elections are on non-partisan basis. Is that correct?
Yes, Bernard.
So
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so that means that from unit committee to assemblyman, they don't have to belong to a political party.
Exactly so.
And then, as a consequence, the turnout is much lower than when political parties organize elections. Is that the thinking?
Exactly. After 1994, 1998, the turnout has never gone beyond 50%. Whereas for general elections, it has never come down less than 50%. So it's the opposite.
Now, so how does the EC do this? When you open nominations, people just basically apply. Do you do any background checks? Do they have to have any qualifications? So if I want to be a unit committee member for, say, now here I am in what do you call it, Adabraka, Odona. So if I want to be one of the 5 unit committee members, what do I need to do? What do I need to know? Do I need to have any qualification?
Well, the basic qualification is what is stated in the CI 89. And when you look at it carefully, it's so minimal. It's so minimal, and it extends to even the assemblymen. And when you look at the recent Council of State elections, it has gone further to that. So you can have, sorry to say, maybe 30-something, a youth 30-something-year-old person entering into the Council of State to advise the president. I'm not saying that that's wrong. That's a kind of structure that we have at the moment, and it needs a total overhaul of our legal legislations. I think specifically I want to talk about the assembly issue.
Yes, go ahead.
What you were discussing, I agree with what the professor that you spoke with said in his concluding remarks. We need people in the assemblies of a higher caliber. So when you go to many of the Western countries, yes, the laws are there, but the criteria to qualify to be an assemblyman and to the extent of even being a DCE, we must have some kind of criteria. And I felt there is the need for individuals, so I even wanted to even write a memo to the Constitutional Review Committee regarding the qualification to the Council of State. We can't leave it the way it is.
So are you saying that if it's just a citizenship and age and sanity qualification, it's too open-ended, and therefore the people who get in are not fit for purpose because voting cannot determine quality? So the quality control must begin from the criteria stated in the law, so that even if you get
Exactly.
3 people contesting, we know that at least those 3 people, whoever wins is good for the work. As against just saying he's 18, he's sane, he can vote, and therefore he can run for whatever.
Exactly. You see, I was in Rwanda for, I think, about 3 months or so, and I was staying around the Grand Mall Hotel area. And when I returned from Rwanda, coming back to Ghana, when I drive around the streets of Ghana, and I look at Accra, I said, what? In terms of infrastructure, we have it. The question is our neatness, keeping our environment clean. And how do they do it? We don't have to go specifically to copy what Rwanda is doing. But I think we can go back. Some time ago, we have this Saturdays cleaning something. It's the same thing that they are doing in Uganda. Okay, so if we are electing district chief executives with some criteria, and it's even based on political party basis, okay, if we open it to politics, but there should be criteria. You should have some background, either engineering, something. Okay, so that the people that we are going to elect to those positions as district chief executives and assemblymen, they will bring their skills and then their competence on board. And you know, Bernard, as I was listening to the discussions with you and then, is it Black Chinese?
Yes, Godfred. The Black Chinese, yes.
Yes. You see, something interesting came up. You see, if we elect district chief executives, and you are citing the case of Shenche, assuming that we elect somebody like that, and we allow him or her to come on board with his technocrats to the assembly to help him, it will also reflect in helping whoever is going to be the member of parliament. Because if your constituency or your district is clean, the adjoining district will also be looking at you. Okay? And it will be a competition. Sometimes when I look at this league table of district with I ask myself, what is it the criteria or always should be revenue? No. Okay? So if we have competent DCEs elected with some criteria to assemblies, and they are manning the process, they own their allegiance and their tenor to the electorate, the people, and not to anybody up there. You see, so when you cite the case of Ablikuma Central, the Fadama area that we were talking about, Dagbobloshi place, when you look at it carefully, it falls within the domain of the Ablikuma Central Assembly. Okay, so if you have a district chief executive who has a background in some kind of civil engineering, or he understands if he's sacking people there with authority because we have the laws.
Yeah, but
okay?
Mr. Tete,
he doesn't look at his shoulders, behind his shoulders, who is to report to or who is telling him not to do the right thing.
So isn't it then better for the system of selection to be used instead of election? Because, for example, there's a new government in power. They've had like 60-something days. They can then scout and say who in Ablikuma Central has the qualification to do this job or the experience to do this job that in a way that will work. Because if you say you're actually an election criteria, even if you said the person must have a master's degree or the person must be literate or whatever, voting is such that it's never a logical process. You can choose somebody because it's popular, but it's incompetent. And in fact, not all our MPs are necessarily helping. So if it looks to me as if in Ghana, when we see a problem, we try and solve it using just one side without thinking about the other. So now people are saying, let's vote for our MMDCs because of the problem of accountability. But you have raised the issue of competence. Voting doesn't deal with competence. And competence is better done if a leadership team can select somebody who they know can do the work. But you can't have it both ways. If you are just going to allow people to vote, a lot of technocrats will not want to go and do elections. So, for example, if I'm a town and country planner, or I am a development professional, or I'm somebody with leadership track record, I may not want to go and do politics to vote because I don't have money and I don't want people to come and be insulting me. You get it? So, in a way, the system we have created does not really solve our problem.
But I don't think selection will be the best, because selection, when you select people, whoever is going to select people or appoint those people, they will owe their allegiance and whatever to that person. The best way to go, like you're saying, if I'm living in Tema West, where I stay, okay, and I felt that the fields and then the lackadaisical people positioning containers everywhere, and I'm living within that environment, and I'm feeling the pain and the filth and those things over there. Don't you think I'll offer myself for elections if I qualify by the criteria? I think God fed with you in Dansoman. When it comes to the crunch and he felt that, look, I have to take the bull by the horn. You will stand for election for him to be elected. And you see, I made mention of the fact that even if we are not getting competent people across board, we will get specific competent people coming out to be elected in certain assemblies, and people will be looking up to them. When you were doing the caravan, you talk of the cleanliness in the Volta region. Yes, I've been frequenting the Volta region, and I see it. So it will be the same way. There was going to be a competition among districts that are clean, districts that are doing very well, and people will be looking to them. So you may not get competent people across board, but with elections, you will get, just like you do for the MPs. When I give you the list of you selecting your best MPs, you will come out with specific names.
All right, so Mr. Tete, can you suggest a possible, so let's use the DC as an example. Is it possible to suggest a list of criteria that a good DCE should meet? So obviously he's above a certain age, he lives in that area, or he can vote in that area, or whatever. Should, for example, he be a degree holder? Will that help? Should he have experience in town and country planning or some leadership role? Because it's such a broad area of leadership that I'm not sure if, or can you give me any country examples where they say for running counties, will you say people who are academics or whatever? I don't know. Can you suggest anything?
For now, I'm driving, so but I think when you look at how President Kufuor picked Mr. Is it Ajay Blankson?
Yes, Ajay Blankson was the mayor of Accra.
Exactly. Ajay Blankson, I think, worked in UK in a similar kind of environment. Okay, so if we get people with certain, like you mentioned, those are some of the things I will be looking for. Okay, you must have a first degree. You must be maybe somebody in the field of kind of development, project planning, some planning related kind of environment, so that we should look at those kind of criteria. Like I said, I decided to be part of those discussions, and in terms of the criteria, we should be able to sit down with the Institute of Local Government, come out to something, and then that should be the basis for electing people as DCEs and probably even assemblymen.
Thank you.
You know, many of our laws, when we look at it, the assembly laws and all those things, were so kind of open to allow people to come in. But now our democracy is maturing, and therefore we must move a little bit higher in terms of the people who must contest for certain positions.
Thank you so much for your insights, Fred Tete, Director, Deputy for Research at the EC. We're trying to think about how to change things, and I think most listeners of this radio program believe that local governance is important. What we are trying to figure out is how to go about it. Is it the voting that solved the problem? Is it some criteria for people to qualify? And all this is happening around the time that the Constitution Review Committee is working. So I hope they are listening, or probably send them clips of this. You've sent in very many text messages. When we come back, we'll read some of them. How do we design governance to produce better outcomes? That's really the topic for the morning. Stay with us. So this is my concern. A lot of people listening to the show are saying that they agree with what we are saying. So how come we are still in a minority in Ghana? You know,
just lawless.
We need to work on getting more people to think like this like the way we are thinking.
Let me go through some messages.
Before we do that, have you ever felt like the best products made in Africa are hidden, just like Africa's finest treasures? Well, let me tell you, Afro Quality just changed the game. They've brought together incredible, authentically African products under one roof, celebrating our creativity, excellence, and pride. From beautifully crafted, ready-to-wear fashion straight from Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, to running shoes from Kenya, South Africa, and even South Sudan, Afro Quality brings the best of Africa together under one roof. Find them at East Legon on the Labawalesi American House Road, right on top of Say Cheers. You can also call 055-339-2345 or check us out on Instagram at Afro Quality. Afro Quality, because you deserve the finest.
Well, messages. This one says, not going too far. Right at the junction towards Citi FM, it's a Kaswa Trotro station. The whole lane has cars parked, making it very difficult to get on the main road.
Opposite the Adabaka market.
Yes. Yeah, right here. It's a complaint I've made.
You complained about this before.
Yes. So bad. Good morning, guys. I am Nenebi from Tema Newtown. The lack of the rules of law to work without fear or favor is because of votes and family lines. Oh, DJ Fire, good morning. He's from Adenta. He says, Bernard and Goffred, I firmly believe that investing in train transportation is the solution to our current transportation woes. Our population has outgrown our existing mass transportation infrastructure, resulting in undue pressure on our roads. To address this issue, I propose that the government invest heavily in developing our road network. Specifically, one, construct rail lines along major roads. This will provide an alternative mode of transportation and alleviate congestion on our roads. Build underground train lines in populated areas. This will not only reduce traffic congestion but also minimize the impact of train lines on existing infrastructure. 3. Convert all roundabouts into interchanges. This will improve traffic flow and reduce congestion at key intersections. Okay. Hi, Citi FM. Ben, good morning.
Morning.
Let us reason with this as a country and see. Do we want quality of people voted into assembly positions with voter statistics, or we want quality people voted into office with fewer numbers and still have our members in office? Those calling for political infiltration in assembly elections to make us have... I don't understand the message, Francis. It's a bit strange for me. Bernard and Goffred, So you want to believe Ghana will work? Yes. If you want to understand Ghana, work in the public sector. Until the public sector gets it right, Ghana will remain what it is. Always complaining. And one day, everything will explode. Kwesi Ajiman from Dodowa is not very happy with Ghana. Nice. The way we politicize everything is our problem. The assemblies play a major role in this. Look, I've worked with one of the assemblies and it's very frustrating. The assemblymen and women connive with the technocrats to do dubious deals. Most of the chief executives are illiterates. I work with assemblies and all that the chief executive knows is to approve documents that appear on his desk. They surround themselves with foot soldiers who know nothing about proper management. This is Kweku from La.
Ghana, the directors and the MFOs are very corrupt
in the assemblies, yes. Good morning, Citi. Yeah, from someone says, Ghana needs CCTV and 24-hour proper surveillance that will prevent people from selling in unauthorized spaces. Okay, this one's from Bologna in Italy. Buongiorno, Isaac. Can we as a nation make a provision in our electoral process whereby even if a party wins all the votes in these areas, it will not have significant impact on the election? I think this will prevent these politicians from doing politics with it. Because you will definitely step on somebody's toes if you really want to bring change. And that's what politicians don't want. Good morning.
Morning.
As a people, we lack discipline and integrity. We want the right thing so long as we can have it our way. A person wrongly locates their kiosk and we say the person must make ends meet. Then we should leave armed robbers too alone. Bernard and team.
Morning.
The bane of Ghana is politics. Sometimes I am inclined towards the idea of military rule. It appears everyone has given up on the system and has left Ghana to its fate. Every serious station has a national development model it abides by, irrespective of the political party in power. Leadership has failed Ghana, and this is attributable to the Ponzi scholarship scheme Ghana operates with. Square pegs are scrupulously favored to go abroad to study. These people come back home and lord it over the taxpayer under the guise of political leadership. Let me just take one more before Sheba comes in with the news at 10. Bernard, the core issue we face in Ghana lies in the quality of individuals within our local government structure. This is not just an isolated problem, but a systemic one, deeply rooted in our societal and cultural dynamic. In Ghana, it often seems that competent, serious-minded individuals avoid engaging in local governance or politics, leaving these spaces to those who may lack the vision, integrity, or capability to drive meaningful development. This creates a cycle of inefficiency, poor decision making, and a lack of accountability, which ultimately hampers progress.
Okay.
Until we address this fundamental issue and encourage more capable and dedicated individuals to participate in governance, our challenges will persist. It is a Ghanaian problem that requires a Ghanaian solution, a shift in mindset, and a collective effort to prioritize competence and integrity in our leadership. This one comes from Martin.